you turn up, roll up, yeah, you know I burn up, burn up.
I like all the options we have here.
Yeah.
We just press a button and we get a new language.
Yeah.
Russian, please.
Now recording.
Anything's better than Craig, dude.
Bro. A wet noodle slap is better than Craig.
Oh, yeah, I'd take that. Wet noodle.
Oh.
Slap.
Okay, all right, okay. Each to their own, man.
Hello and welcome. You are listening to Hobby Homies. We are your weekly wargame and board game podcast. My name's Shane, as always, joined in the flesh by my co-host, Fox.
Whoop, whoop.
This is episode 18 of season 2, and you guessed it, we are back in the studio.
It is hot.
It's like episode 1.
Yeah, man.
If you guys, I mean, probably not. People listen to episode 1 aren't listening now, that's for sure.
True, yeah.
But it's about the same. It's about 45 degrees.
Yeah, there's 4 people. In fact, I think episode 2 is the biggest tell because episode 1, we jumped in the booth, we were raw, we were excited, we were confused, scared, dazed, all of the above.
Horny,
all the things.
Yeah.
And then the heat set in, and then we actually recorded 2 back-to-back episodes.
Yeah, we did.
And the second one was like a sauna. We were sweating, we were delirious. We listened to the episode and don't recognize ourselves. And here we are in a similar situation.
Yeah.
It's hot again, but I don't know, I think our hype is much higher than the heat at the moment.
Oh, yeah. Our hype is up at like 80 degrees.
And we've got, and we haven't said this in forever, but we're joined by our sound engineer, Churchy from Beyond the Void. So,
the man is back. We've actually been hanging out with Churchy all afternoon.
oh, it's been sweet.
It's been fucking sweet.
Yeah.
It's been so good. Yeah.
So you did mention that this is episode 18, and we are actually going to record an episode, despite the idea that we just wanted to kick back and have beers.
Yeah.
We thought we'd serve up some fresh content for you guys.
Oh, gots to, man.
Guts to.
Gots to.
And we today played some Warcry in the morning.
Yep.
Then we caught up with Churchy and we played the Alien RPG, which is a recent purchase for us.
We did, yeah. Yep.
So, yeah, we're going to be talking about those.
Yeah. Oh, before we get stuck into that.
Take a breath, Shane. Take a drink.
Oh, man, I need to.
Put a wet sock on your forehead.
Look, I actually haven't looked at you in months, man. So I'm just still trying to soak it all in my eye holes.
You've got your eyes taped open. Yes, what you see in front of you is actually me. I'm sorry.
Oh, can't believe it. What have you've let yourself go, dude?
Yeah, well, I had no choice. COVID. Whatever.
True. Yeah, so we are... What are we doing?
Lost.
We're so lost. We haven't prepared for this episode.
Well, look, we haven't actually.
No.
We've had zero time.
Yeah.
Well, let's jump into it. So this morning we hit Warcry.
Yeah.
And this is monumental for many reasons. A, we've had Warcry since the start, never played it.
No, not even rolled the dice once.
No, not even touched it. Not even painted the models until, well, me never painted the models until within the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So we learned the rules, which I found surprisingly intuitive and easy.
They were so good. Like, the whole rune system and all that on the cards
Yeah.
was, at the first glance at it, you're kind of like, what's going on here? But it all makes sense after a couple of activations.
Yeah. I was surprised how quick everything happened.
Yeah.
It's a very snappy game. So for those of you who don't know, Warcry is Games Workshop, Age of Sigmar universe, small skirmish style game.
Yeah, like a fantasy kill team in a way.
In a way, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a little bit different to like the standard 40k universe. I'm not 40k, sorry. Like Warhammer universes. It
Yep.
uses D6, that's normal. But yeah, you've got cards for each of your units that are it's more symbol based. So you can kind of just quickly look at the little sword symbol
Yep.
and then number, I was going to say the button next to it. I already lost it. The numbers next to it and you go, all right, he's got 4 attacks or whatever.
Yeah.
Um,
And the range and the damage, it's all there, and strength, it's all in front of you.
yeah.
And it's so easy. You're not really worrying about strength versus toughness like you do in a lot of these Warhammer games. It's basically, is my strength higher than your toughness? Yes. All right, sweet. You're wounding on 3s.
Yeah, and then when you wound, you wound.
You do
There's
damage.
no saves. Yeah. Which is
Yep.
cool. It just speeds up the whole thing.
Yeah.
I think it was interesting our first game, if we do a mini battle report, it was funny because of the two of us, when we play games, I'm never the one with the painted models. But I went and painted 5 because there's only 5 orc brutes
Yeah.
to make up.
Iron Jaws?
Yeah, iron jaws.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think they are specifically brutes as opposed to ard boys or whatever. I didn't want anything with boys or knobs in there. Just didn't feel right about it. So I fielded my army of 5 dudes, and I was like, here they are, Shane. An actual painted force of 5 guys that I've worked tirelessly on, well, for a single day, but it was the entire day. And you were like, oh, here's my force. Some of it's painted, some of it's not. I was like, that's fine.
Some of it's still blue tack together.
Yeah, exactly. Options, dude.
Yeah.
Why magnetize when you can blue tack?
Exactly.
And we put them on the table, and we, in Warcry, you draw from 4 decks.
Yep.
There's remind me, Shane.
There's a terrain deck.
Yep.
So that determines the placement of the terrain.
Yep.
There's your deployment deck, which determines where your warband is broken up into 3 little teams. That determines where they're deployed.
Yep.
And then there's the objective, so the way to win the game.
Yep.
And the final one is twists, which adds a bit of flavour to your games.
Just a bit of spice, a little paprika in there,
That's it. Yep. Just a pinch on top.
a little pinch.
Yeah.
Salt, pepper, paprika, cumin,
Rosemary.
rosary.
Rosemary.
Yeah, actually, that's interesting you mentioned rosary. We'll talk about that in our alien game. And so the mission, or the thing that we got basically was, you got to pick one of my 3 teams, and that one would start on the table, and then everything else would get thrown out, and I wouldn't use it for that game.
Yeah. So I picked the one single model.
Yeah, because I had mine sorted in a group of 2, a group of 2, and a group of 1.
Yeah.
You're like, well, that one.
Yeah.
I didn't even actually give you the choice. I was like, well, I'm starting this one. So so these models I'd been working on, getting ready for this game. First game, didn't get to use them.
No.
And I was sweating because you got your entire army. I had 1 dude.
Yeah.
And the game was like, basically, I just have to survive for 3 turns.
Yep.
I was like, well, that's not great because you have nothing but crossbow guys.
Yeah. All ranged.
All ranged.
But it worked well in your favour because the way I split up my guys, the ones that started on the board was a big old bird
Yep.
and a doggo.
Yeah,
So first turn, my main heavy hitters were off the table.
that's true.
So you had 1 turn basically in your pocket.
3, yeah.
Yeah. So
That's
then,
true. You sent in the hounds first.
yeah, unintentionally.
Yeah.
That was just the way the deployment worked. And then the later turns, my other guys came in, but the one team was too far out of range.
Yeah.
And then the other team was shit. They didn't do much.
All in all, it was a spicy game, and it literally came down to 1 roll.
It did. Yeah, at the very end there.
There was one roll where if you had a roll to 6, boom, game ends.
Yep.
And then there was another roll because my dude had 1 health left.
Yeah.
Through the 3 turns,
Yep.
he had a single health left of his 25 wounds,
Yep.
and I think you got to roll 4 dice with your doggo maybe.
Yeah, I think so.
And if any of those 4 dice were 5s or 6s, I died, and
Yep.
you won the game.
Yeah.
You rolled goose eggs, duck eggs, snake eyes, whatever.
Yeah. Shit.
You didn't roll 5s or 6s.
Nah.
So I won that game by a hair,
Yeah.
a single dice roll, a
Yeah.
fraction.
Yeah.
What fraction you ask? Well, 50-50, of course. So that was exciting, and we finished that game, I reckon, in half an hour.
Oh man. Yeah. 20 minutes. Even like.
Yeah.
It was just super quick. And then the next game, which we played immediately after,
Yeah.
was just as fun. And again, it ended like it was neck and neck the whole time.
Yeah. And it was funny how different both games felt,
Yeah.
Which happens when you've got 4 fat stacks of randomized,
Yeah.
terrain placement and
The replayability it's endless. Like
yeah.
I don't know what your chances would be to get the same game. Probably 50-50, but like
Yeah, definitely. At least. Yeah, and the second game, so it was sort of like I had to defend a certain objective on the map.
Yeah.
And you had to come and get it.
and you'd score points for every turn.
Yeah.
But if I was within range of that objective, it would lower you the points that you would score.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was funny at the end, we were like, you had to roll. For me to get enough to win, even if you weren't on the table at all, I still had to roll a 4 on the dice, a 4, 5, or 6 every turn
Yeah.
to be able to actually win. So
Yeah.
I don't know what the odds on that one are, but yeah, it was interesting. And you did well. And again, it came down to 1 point.
Yeah.
I had to roll at the end a 5 or a 6,
Yep.
and I did.
You did.
So
You rolled a 5, I think, wasn't it?
yeah, I did.
Yeah. And I ended up with one of my birds on that objective to try and limit you 1 point. You managed to kill it.
Yep.
Had you have not killed it,
I would have
would have
lost.
denied you that point.
Yeah.
And like,
Yeah. It was good.
oh man, so fun. Like we've put this off for so long, but like, why?
Oh, man, I'm kicking myself for it, dude.
Yeah.
Because it was like playing back-to-back games for us never happened before.
Not even with a kill team game.
No. And playing the first game of something
Yeah.
under 2 hours, that's never happened either.
No.
So it checked all the boxes so much so that we went back for game 2 just because we had time.
Yeah.
And yeah, I could definitely see it's just like, the 6-hour day, just smacking a bunch of games, a mini campaign, easy.
Yeah. You'd get like 5 games in comfortably.
Yeah.
Like I'm sure there are others that go for longer than ours went for, but like,
Oh, for sure.
yeah.
It depends on the mission and stuff. Like our second game definitely went longer.
Yeah, that had a whole extra turn. We had more models. You had a bunch more models, so there's more activations in between there. But
Yeah.
so fun, and like just the randomness and the replayability, and it's all just brilliant. And like your orcs look sick.
Oh,
I'm
thank you.
spewing that I hadn't painted all of my Stormcast.
Oh, disgusting, dude. I can't believe you
know.
even fielded those.
I shouldn't have. I brought painted ones because
Yeah.
I'm like, I can't play with these.
You're like,
Legit.
should I bring all painted or something different? I'm like, hey man, you do whatever you try something new,
Yeah.
try something tasty. What I meant was the painted ones.
The painted ones. Yeah.
Nah, it was
Not
fine.
new.
Nah, I don't think I've ever brought a painted army to any games we've ever played. So
Well, you did today, so.
it was a lot of firsts for us today.
Yeah, it was. Yep.
So, I mean, what would you give Warcry out of 10 first impressions across the board? So let's think about accessibility to it, price,
Yeah.
ease of picking up and playing, replayability, all that stuff.
Okay.
What's your first score in your head?
Okay. Can you still buy the original box? Do you know?
No, I think they've got that new Catacombs box,
Okay.
which
well,
is a bit
that's-
more expensive now.
Yeah, and
That's a knock on it.
yeah, and you get less in it. I think the first box that we got, I pre-ordered it, and that is by far the best because you get a mountain of terrain, 2 like sick little war bands, which I only have 1 now, but unpainted.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Disgusting.
Yeah, but like accessibility probably brings it down because of the price, but the simplicity of it, the amount of fun that we've
Yeah,
had playing
yeah.
the game
Yep.
definitely gives it up. So I'd have to give it a 7 out of 10.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what would you give it if price wasn't a thing? If the game was free?
Well, if it was free, 9.
Mm.
Yeah, I
Loved
frothed
it.
it, man. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely loved it. Yeah.
It seems like
Yeah.
a really easy thing to throw a tournament around.
Yeah.
I know for us, we've been talking recently about like what events now can we start doing now that people can physically see each other.
Yep.
But what is like some, like you want to do 1-day events that lots of people can come, have
Yeah.
fun, play a lot of games, quick, snappy games. Warcry feels like the go. I know for me, it definitely felt like the entry to this game was very low because you have all the stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
You got it ages ago.
If your friend has it or if your local store has it, you got to it's worth going and just throwing some dice. Even if you don't have an army or if there's an army that you can use, have a go. If Age of Sigmar isn't your thing and you're a 40k player, still it's worth
Yeah,
having a good look at it.
well, we're 40k players, really.
yeah.
I mean, we don't really have Sigma stuff that we use.
No, I've got a bunch of Stormcasts, but like I don't even know why.
Yeah, I don't know how that happens.
I don't even really like froth them their fluff or them as an army. Like they're good. I think they're good looking models. They're kind of cool, but like
Yeah,
I think Necrons are cooler.
yeah.
I don't know, but yeah,
I'm
yeah.
just having a squiz on the website and I'm trying to figure out like what's the cheapest way to get into Warcry. Like you can buy the cards separately.
the deployment cards, train cards.
Deployment, not terrain is the thing.
Oh yeah.
3 other cards, deployment, twists, all that.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
and the box I bought, it wasn't cheap. It was $100.
That's the army box.
That's the army.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's more than what you need. You can mix and match and
Is there still models on sprue? Have you got like another 5 guys at home?
Yeah,
or
I
is
do.
that-
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
you do.
I've got 5 Ard boys
Okay.
and lots of options and
Yeah.
yeah. So they come with way more than you need,
Yeah.
and they come with great value.
Yeah.
Like I think mine worked out that brutes are normally I think 110
Okay.
for 5,
five,
and
yeah.
I got my box of 5 brutes, 5 Ard boys, all the tokens, everything I need,
Yeah.
cards and everything for 100.
And Ard boys probably come in a box of 10, I'd imagine.
Yeah, 10 or 15 or something.
Yeah.
But still, they were free,
Yeah.
basically. So
I like to look at the other factions pre-made, like besides the ones they make exclusively for Warcry, like the Unmade and all those Iron Golems and that.
yeah,
Like the Stormcast, I'd like to have a look at them. The Caradron Overlords have definitely got me interest.
peaked.
As much as I don't really like dwarves, I kind of like these ones.
Yeah, they're a bit different from standard dwarves.
Yeah,
They're they're less goofy and more. They're cool.
yeah.
They're cool dwarves.
They are
They're
cool.
all in armor and yeah,
Yeah.
they're very sick.
One of the guys in the Discord I remember reading, I think it might have been Burnsy, maybe.
Oh, okay.
Someone mentioned about how cool it is flying dwarves,
Flying
in
dwarves.
armor. It's
Yeah.
just like,
With
yeah.
balloons, with metal balloons.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you can't not field them, really.
Nah, that's right.
I was collecting them for a little bit, too.
Yeah, you had the Underworlds warband, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. And a box of 10.
Thundrix Profiteers.
I did. I have Thundrix Profiteers.
Mm.
And I also had some other little dudes.
Yeah, yeah.
They got sold in the great culling of
2020.
2020.
Yeah.
But yeah, I frothed it too, man. I thought it was great. I can't wait. When we catch up and we have small amounts of time, we usually play Kill Team.
Yeah.
I could definitely see this taking the place or on a 50-50 scale at least.
I think so. For
it's
sure,
quicker.
man.
I mean, I feel like we could do 2 of these games in a proper Kill Team time. But
Yeah.
the rules were just the whole thing just felt snappy. So
Yeah.
that was good.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, super fun. Man, I froth it. We wish we had played it a long time ago.
Yeah. I think we're both kicking ourselves that we didn't sooner.
Yeah.
I think at the time for us it was just another game.
Yeah. It really was. It really was. And we were so heavy into 40k and Kill Team at the time.
Yeah. And I think it's a shame because this is one of those another games
Yep.
that can easily slot in,
Yeah.
even take a spot of something else.
Yeah, yeah.
You know? I just feel like it's lower entry than it's not as cheap, but it's lower entry than you just mentioned it, Underworlds.
Yep.
Because you don't have to make a full deck of cards.
No, there's no card building element to it at all.
No.
Which I'm not personally a fan of because I don't really play card games.
Yeah.
I can definitely see where Underworlds appeals to other people that play, like Magic the Gathering and Yu-Gi-Oh! And those collectible card games.
Yeah.
I can see the appeal for that, but like to me, not really.
Yeah.
I don't really get around it.
And I know
yeah.
with that game too, there's a fair bit of there's a meta with the types of decks you're
yeah.
supposed to build and all that kind of stuff.
People chase cards, and there's certain cards that are only available in one army box.
Oh,
and then,
yeah.
And then that box becomes discontinued.
Yep.
Yep. What's up with that?
Yeah. Yeah. So
Yeah.
it definitely feels like cost wise it's a little bit higher.
Yeah.
It does feel like more of the skill comes from actually playing the game, and positioning's a big one. And
Yeah, really big. Like we were in 40k, we'll just chuck a bunch of models anywhere, right? But
Yeah.
but we were
I'll be like, that looks like 6 inches.
moving them, and then like I'll bring it back to like 1.1 inch.
Yeah, yeah.
We were really like getting around it.
Yeah, yeah. Even in deployment and placing of like objective markers and stuff, we were
Yeah.
being real to the minute.
Yep.
So
Yep.
it was good. Yeah, we've talked a bit about it.
Yeah.
I think if you have played it, you are sitting there nodding your head, going, "Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Why did you guys take so long? It's phenomenal. I love it."
Yeah.
And just I just like that I can take my little warband of 5 guys to someone else who might have the game.
Yeah.
And we can play Warcry.
Yeah. But even then, I brought it to your place.
Yeah.
It looks like a lot of stuff. It's not. It's the terrain that takes up all the room.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's the book. It's 4 decks of cards
Yep.
and some tokens.
Yeah.
Like I wouldn't need to bring that with me. If you had just even a little bit of terrain, right? Like
Yeah. Yeah. The terrain.
that we could use. Like
Yeah.
yeah,
It's not a imperative. A lot of the
No.
game references specific types or has pictures or
Yeah.
the arrangement's similar, but you can create the similar vibe.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, man.
So that was a great start to the morning. We hadn't seen each other in how long, you said? Since
Oh.
July?
Yeah, at least July, maybe even June.
Damn.
I can't. Yeah,
So we met up and threw dice straight away. That was a blast.
Yeah.
Then we caught up with Churchy, and we hit the Alien RPG.
Oh, yeah. We got straight into that, didn't we?
And you DM'd the bish.
Yeah.
How'd that go? How'd that feel?
Was very... gave me a lot of anxiety.
It's funny, there's a mechanic in the game called panic.
Stress.
Stress.
Yeah.
And you're like, all right, now this has happened, so your stress goes up, guys. But really, you were stacking up the stress tokens in the back.
Oh, yeah.
You're like, they're not doing what they're supposed to. Stress.
my stress was through the roof.
Yeah. I want to make a formal apology as well on my behalf and also Churchy's. Probably the two worst people you could have to DM for.
They'd enter a room and I'd tell them what's in the room and they're like, oh yeah, let's just leave and go to another room. And I'm like, you sure you don't want to search? Like there's all this
like,
fucking shit over there.
This one's pretty boring, there? Isn't it? It's not that great, hey? Let's move on. This isn't a good room at all.
Churchy's character was a junkie.
Yeah.
And couldn't, just wanted to go to the med bay the whole time.
Yeah. It's like, y'all got any of them? Yeah. He has to fix the situation. Yeah. So Churchy played a junkie whose sole purpose was to get his hands on some more meds.
Yeah.
An adrenaline junkie of sorts.
Adrenaline junkie. We use so the Alien RPG starter set comes with a pre-made campaign. I think it's called Chariot of the Gods. And in there is 5 pre-made characters. And instead of, spending time building these characters, I just gave them to Fox and Churchy and said, here, pick out of these 5.
Yeah.
So like very detailed, the character sheets, a bio, personality things, kind of like we were saying earlier, Churchy and these drug addiction.
Yeah. It's a nice little efficient piece of paper that basically just tells you who you are,
Yeah.
what your job is, gives you a tiny little couple sentences on your backstory,
Yep.
leaves it nice and ambiguous so you can sort of fill in the blanks, gives you a little perk or a little trait,
Yep.
something that you're good at, so you get a feel for what your character's good at,
Yeah.
their background, in one A4 piece of paper. So
Yeah.
I thought that was good.
Yeah. Very good.
And then you flip it over the back and your mind just runs wild because there's all these different stats and skill tree type things.
At a glance, it is very overwhelming. I think those sheets. The first time I looked at it, I'm like, what the fuck is all
What am I
this?
doing?
Like, this is crazy. But it is kind of intuitive and it makes a lot of sense. As soon as you know what one section is, you figure the rest of it out pretty easily.
Yeah.
Um,
And it never really came up. Like the way you took us through the campaign, it was a good intro to it because it was like, yeah, you've got good strength and you're good at operating machinery.
yeah.
So you get good rolls when we do stuff like that.
Yeah.
But otherwise, we didn't really worry about the stats that we didn't have or
No.
doing checks for things that we weren't good at. So
Yeah. One thing the game was telling me the whole time, in the book, it says, don't roll all the time.
yeah, okay.
Save the dice rolls for stressful situations.
Yeah.
Because it kind of builds that tension with the players. Like,
Yeah.
if you guys have, the whole time you guys have been just, plodding along, opening doors, doing all that kind of shit.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, all right, do a check roll, whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you guys are like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Something, this is something.
Yep.
So yeah, like look, my hat goes off to everyone that DMs out there
Yeah.
because I did it for 5 minutes and fuck, it's hard.
It's difficult.
It is difficult. And this was like telling me what to do for the most part. Like it had a lot of points to point the players towards, but for the most part, it was very open. And like I
Yeah.
had to try and tie these 2 different situations together.
Yep.
Try and lead the characters into the, down a certain corridor or towards a certain, point in the story.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it could just go on forever until you guys just stumble
Legit.
into the right room.
Yeah.
You know?
There are so many rooms
Oh.
because we'll talk probably throughout the podcast a little bit about the story and everything. So if you're scared of spoilers, well, we haven't even got through Act 1.
No.
So there's
Yeah.
no real spoilers here.
No, we're not going to give the end away because we
No.
don't know what it is.
No, but we may talk about little plot points that happen through Act 1. We're sorry.
Yeah.
Fast forward, pause, rewind,
Just skip.
take out the VCR. Yeah. So I think the story is we're cargo haulers, we're truckers, we're space truckers. We've taken a job for a company,
Yep.
Whalen Industries or
Whalen Yutani.
Yutani. Yep,
Yep.
that's right. So we're on a ship. we're flying across. Churchy was the pilot, which is terrifying because he's a drug addict. But hey, here we are. And we just wake up from cryo sleep, and we go to have a yap, have a few chews,
Yep.
shoot the shit with everyone.
Yep.
Just be like, hey guys, how was your cryo sleep? Yeah, any dream about anything interesting?
Yeah, what'd you dream about?
And then we heard the alarms go off, and we were about to. There was an impact about to happen. So Churchy took a line of coke, I think, and then booked it to the pilot's chair,
Yep.
to the bridge, and performed an amazing backflip or whatever maneuver he did.
Backflip barrel roll. I think
Backflip barrel roll. Yep. Dodged the ship,
Yeah.
and it's funny because you were like, "Well, what do you want to do?" And me and Churchy were both kind of just like, "Oh, we'll just keep going." Now, in hindsight, if we had have actually done that,
Yeah.
it'd been a very short campaign. Like, you arrive safely at the planet and sell your cargo. Well done.
It's like one of those choose your own adventure goosebump books
Yeah.
back in the day. It's like, what would you like to do? Enter the haunted house or go home?
Yeah, I think I'll go home.
home. Yeah.
You trip and fall and die. The end. Go back to page 1. So
It's actually, that was the first hurdle that I had was like, how do I get these guys to the next step? So the
Yeah.
first step was just waking up, introduce your character.
Yeah.
It's, if you guys have seen the first Alien movie, which let's be honest, everyone has,
yeah,
this campaign plays out a lot like that first movie, right? You're not Marines. It's not like Alien 2,
Yeah.
where you're fully trained soldiers. You guys are just
Space
working
truckers.
on a ship. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're space truckers. And the whole... Yeah, man, it was so... Even relaying it now is very hard. Like,
Yeah.
to try and determine where you guys went, I had a few options of how to, like, get this ship to, approach.
Yeah, okay.
That was just one that I thought sounded the coolest.
Yeah, it does sound cool.
Like...
Suddenly a derelict ship is about to crash into us.
Yeah,
we have to do something.
All of a sudden, alarms and shit starts going
Yeah.
off. I tried to I'm like, let's just throw him into the fray straight away.
Yeah,
If,
it was good.
If Churchy had failed his piloting role, the ship would have crashed into your ship.
Damn, I kind of wish he had failed then. That would have made it. That would have forced us.
Pilot, man.
Yeah, exactly.
True.
Did sweet tricks. It did feel very easy to pass the tests.
That did. I felt like we were rolling way too hard. I wonder. I thought it was 5s and 6s as successes.
Yeah,
I wonder now if it's only 6s.
that makes sense.
I don't think it is though. I'm pretty sure.
Because at times we were doing checks where we would be rolling up to 8 dice,
Yeah.
and yeah,
But
we
you didn't roll any 1s with the yellow dice, which are stress dice.
Yeah,
If you roll a 1 with them, you have to roll on a stress level, which is your base stress level plus D6.
right. Okay.
So in my DM screen, there's a whole bunch of different attributes where different things happen, like
Yep.
stress, like you go into like panic attacks and you fail certain things and all that sort of stuff, which is brilliant. Very, very immersive. And there's so many different injury rolls that you can make.
Yeah.
It's
Wow.
kind of funny. Like there's like all these different possible injuries, and then one is just like punctured heart, and then
True.
it's like instant death, and then the description's like your heart beats for one last time, and it's like, well, no shit.
Yeah, punctured heart.
Like,
that'll do it.
Yeah.
That'll do it.
Yeah.
Why just not say instant death?
Yeah.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's not an injury you want.
No. But yeah, very. The book itself was good, but I found myself flicking backwards and
Yes.
forwards through it. You
A
guys
lot.
would have seen, like,
yeah.
I feel like I would need to like maybe scan or photocopy a few pages and just
Okay.
have them all in front of me.
Yeah.
Not just keep going backwards and forwards through the book, because in the book it's got all the different rooms for the ship. Like the ship that you end up boarding is massive compared to the ship that you start on.
Oh, it's huge.
And it's got like 4 levels, and then each level has like 10 or 12 rooms. Like,
And then there was 2 levels that probably had about 25 rooms, I reckon.
yeah.
So there was upwards of, I reckon there was somewhere between 40 and 50 different rooms or corridors you could interact with.
Yeah.
And yeah, like without guidance, it's a needle in the haystack.
It really is. Like I had a few different points. Like, there was that guy that we found with he'd shot himself in the head.
Yeah. Well, we're still, the jury's out on that one, but definitely a guy missing a head.
Yeah, with
I don't know
long
if he just
arms.
lost it. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. How did you feel playing this RPG? Like, you haven't had much RPG experience, have you?
Nah, next to none. So
Yeah.
I've played I played one round of D&D, which turned into a bit of a dungeon crawler. It played more like Gloomhaven, where we just attacked things and
Yeah.
moved around and attacked things, and we didn't really interact much with the
With
world.
the environment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then I ran a little Root RPG playthrough with you,
Yeah.
and then this one was good. It's just interesting because I found, like, when we were on the ship, for example, and bad stuff was happening.
Yeah.
You know, we discovered something. I was like, well, why? Like, if I'm in this situation, why would I stay here? Like,
Yeah.
why would we just not leave and go back? And we tossed that up a few times. We were like, should we just go back to the ship?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, there was a time where some things might have been waking up from cryosleep or something.
Yeah.
And we just investigated a med lab and seen some weird stuff happen. And we're just like, let's get the heck out of here.
See, now, I was wondering when that was going to happen.
Yeah.
I didn't know if it would happen straight away or if you guys would just power through it.
Yeah.
And if it did happen, I had a few ideas in mind to
Okay.
keep you on the ship.
Okay, good.
Yeah. So,
Well, that's good because I was worried. There was a part of me that would be like, I think really I want to head back.
yeah.
But I know that would make a short campaign. I thought the way you made us investigate the ship was clever because there's a guy on board who works for Wayland, you know, the people we're trying to drop the cargo off to.
Yeah.
And he was like, bless you, Churchy. He was like, it's just COVID, but we're more than 1.5, so we're basically immune.
Yeah.
I think that's how it works.
Yeah. That's right.
That's
yeah.
what the Melburnians think. So we were like, you said, you know, he said it's company policy. We actually have to go and check out that ship because
Yeah.
it was a Wayland Industries, whatever the new name is.
Yeah.
Ship. So
yeah.
you guys technically have to check it out. We were on the books from his company, so it made sense. We're like, all right, we better go do it. Otherwise, he's going to report us. We'll get no money for the thing or whatever.
Yeah.
So that was good. But yeah, I could only imagine, like, especially with people like me and Churchy, who just wanted to explore and look around and find him some drugs.
And you wanted a gun the whole time.
Yeah.
And then you finally got one.
And I was like, oh, this is boring.
Yeah, you didn't shoot once.
I was going to shoot, we found an android of sorts.
Yeah.
I was going to shoot her just for fun, but I didn't want to waste the shells.
Yeah, true.
So I ended up just bad keeping them.
Yeah.
It's like a person, apparently that's a sign of starvation when you start hoarding food.
Okay.
Seems counterintuitive. That's what I was doing.
Sure.
Through every opportunity, I was just like, I'm going to keep these shells.
Yeah.
You never know.
It's like a an RPG game. You're like, I'll save this health potion for later.
Yeah.
At the end of the game, you've still got that fucking health
Yeah.
potion.
Or you're so far through the game that you drink it and it just like, here's your health of 5 and you got like 2,000.
Yeah.
It's like keeping potions in Pokemon to
Yeah.
like the Elite Four.
Yeah.
That was a good Pokemon reference for all those Pokemon players.
So, yeah,
What are your after we've gone through the first act? You said there's how many acts?
3.
And we haven't even gone through the first one actually.
Probably halfway through the first one.
Okay, well that's good
Yeah.
because it started to get pretty spicy.
Yeah. It's the alien universe is very interesting. It's got a lot of corporate corruption.
Yeah,
Like, it's all about the almighty dollar in the alien universe. Like,
yeah,
even watching the first movie, which was made in, I think, 77 or 79,
yeah.
the guys on there are all about their bonus. They want their bonus. Like,
Huh.
they don't want to... The same thing kind of happens. Like, they get a distress signal,
Yeah,
and they don't want to go to there. They want their money. But then
Yeah.
the Wayland Yutani rep says, no, you're going there.
Yeah, okay.
Otherwise, you forfeit your bonus. Like,
channeled a bit of that. Have you watched it recently in preparation?
yeah, I watched it like 3 days ago.
Yeah, nice.
And then I watched
Smart.
Alien 2.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Aliens is good.
Yeah, sorry, Aliens. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
Alien 2, yeah.
Oh, both the first ones are really good.
Yeah.
I was thinking of binging them tonight actually after we played.
Yeah.
I think I probably will.
Yeah. Like the first one, it's aged.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say poorly,
No, I've
but
seen
you
it.
can tell.
Yeah.
But the second one, not so bad.
You watch the first one almost historically now.
Yeah.
Not for pure entertainment, although
Yeah.
it's still good.
I remember watching it, and the alien, it's hiding in the ship that Ripley's in at the end. And like, it's trying to get out of where it's hiding, and you can tell it's a guy in a suit because
Oh,
even he's
no.
struggling.
Oh, no.
He's like struggling to get up. It's like a drunk guy that's fallen off the couch. He's kind of like flailing his arms around
Oh,
trying to
God.
get up. Like when you see the aliens in like the new AVP and that, they like
Oh, yeah.
they're vicious and
Yeah.
they like pounce
And they're
from
fast. And,
Yeah,
they're
this
scary.
thing ain't fast.
Nah.
It's a drunk guy stumbling his way home from the pub.
It's running in his dream.
yeah,
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 I guess the tricky thing about me playing that, I don't actually know much about the wider Alien universe. So
Yeah.
it's tricky because you sit down, you play this game, you're like, at some point, the plot twist or the climax of this is that we're gonna see an alien.
Yeah.
And it kind of, a little bit of suspense is removed. Although it's cool to know that, when you make your own campaign for it and don't follow the cinematic ones,
No.
you can make a wide universe where they either never see it, it's all about dealing with pirates, corruption, or whatever.
Yeah.
Or maybe like, in their sixth run or something, they happen to one's been on their ship the whole time, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So that's cool. That sort of adds that suspense back. You're like, because if you ever see one, it should just be that you die.
Yeah.
If you see one, it's over.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so you want the suspense to be that you want them to be an imposing, scary force like Jaws.
Yeah.
You only see it for 6 minutes of the actual movie.
Yeah.
And it feels like it's there the whole time.
Yeah.
So
It's just the suspense and the atmosphere that builds up.
yeah.
That was very hard to relay that into the game.
Yeah.
I tried, like, at the start, I was like, every corridor that you opened, I'm like thinking, like, how can I build the suspense up? Like, they get to the point where the doors would open and I'd mention the flickering lights and I was,
You did a great job, but it's like it's a derelict ship. Either we're going to see something or we're not.
50-50, dude.
50-50, man. And not to mention we were playing it whilst outdoors in the balmy sun with a couple of beers
Oh, yeah.
in a little river under a gum tree.
It was very lovely, actually.
It was nice. It was great. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
It was probably the loveliest RPG encounter ever. But yeah, so having not played too many, it was way better than when I'd played previous ones.
Yeah.
Because we were interacting more with stuff, especially the med lab. I felt had the most description.
Yeah, the med lab was very well done. That one wasn't me.
Yeah.
That was in the
Pre-written
book.
one.
Yeah. I tried to explain everything else though.
Yeah.
Which was again very hard. Like you walk in a room in your house
Yeah.
and like if you were to sit there and describe it to someone, very detailed.
Yeah.
Very detailed, right?
Yeah.
But you could be like, oh, there's a couch and TV.
Yeah.
Or you could be like, there's a 6-seater couch with cushions and a coffee table with magazines.
Yeah.
And like you could sit there and explain it in 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Right. But I was trying to like give you the most important information.
Yeah.
But also be as detailed as it could be.
Yeah.
Which is tough. Yeah.
Man, yeah. I couldn't imagine.
Yeah.
Because for the players to stay immersed, you almost have to give them disgustingly vivid details.
You nearly need to, yeah.
Like to the inch.
Yep. But
Like
then
the corner of the desk
also
is chipped.
you don't want to overwhelm them
Yeah.
because it's like, all right, I need these guys to go in there and operate this control terminal.
Yeah.
Right? But I might tell you about everything else in the room.
Yeah.
And you'll just forget about the control terminal because it was in the middle of the list of things that I said.
Yeah.
And like straight away, like you went and operated the crane in that crane room in the cargo bay office. And I'm like, well, I mean, the crane's there, but there's nothing to it. Like, it's just a fucking crane.
and even I said to Church, I was like, I mean, why would I? And he was like, well, why wouldn't you? And I was like, oh, yeah, of course. So he started using the crane like it was a joystick for one of them claw machines. And I was like, I don't know why we're doing this. And I was in my head, I was like, well, can I pick up one of the containers and hold it up real high and drop it and see if anything falls out? And,
See, part of that too was because my character was like a thrill seeker, adrenaline junkie, just wants
Yeah.
to be seeking a high.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's it. Church's guy just wanted to cause some havoc and just do some fun stuff. So why not use the crane?
Yeah, that's it. That's it. But it's funny, that campaign actually doesn't... Oh, I don't know if I want to tell you guys or
No,
not.
I
now.
don't. I think we'll finish it off at some point.
All right. We'll
I'd
talk about it again.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. We'll definitely do a follow-up to both of these things.
Yeah.
Like when we play a proper day of Warcry,
Yeah.
and when we do a proper finish this 3-act part, we might do a bit of a review on the actual story and our thoughts. And
Hell yeah, man.
I'm curious, were there any times where we left you internally screaming?
All the time.
All the
whole time.
Wow.
Like my body was just
you were just
screaming.
like, just do this, or just look at this.
But it was also like, what am I going to do now? Like, where can I take this? How can I?
Yeah. 'Cause it did feel like that. We felt like we were on this massive ship. What do we do?
Yeah. At the point, I think the ship was like too big.
I think so.
If it had been the ship we started on, which has a small map,
Yeah.
it's 5 rooms.
Yeah.
And a straight corridor.
Yeah.
Like this thing had multiple corridors taking you to the same location.
Yeah.
So it's like, that's where I had the guy slumped over, which had blown his head off.
Yeah.
And then the next corridor parallel
Yeah.
was the synthetic that you found.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't. I mean, I just planned that because like I'm like, oh, well, they didn't go that way, so anything
Yeah.
could be in there.
Yeah.
So like,
And not to
yeah.
mention, there's like say we want to go onto a different deck and check out something specifically, like the med lab, because Churchy wants to get a fix for the situation. Fix the situation. That's right. And that's 6 corridors away, for example.
Yeah,
Are you gonna like sit there and explain each cold, dark corridor?
that's where I didn't know
Yeah.
because that's the detail that I put into the first couple of corridors.
So that would take forever, and
Yeah.
for all 6 of those corridors, it's gonna be like, you see this. Flash forward 10 minutes later, you've explained it.
Yeah,
Now what do you do? And we'll be like, well, we'll just keep going.
yeah.
We'll walk through it.
Yeah.
And we'll be like, so do you want to go in the next corridor? Open the door? Yeah, we'll type in the keypad and open the door.
Yeah.
It's a dark cold. 10 minutes later. So what do you do? We'll just we'll just power through this one too.
Yeah.
So at the end it was just like, well, we'll go all the way up here through these 3 corridors. Is there anything of note? You know?
Yeah.
So it is tricky because they gave you such a big space, and it's a starter thing. Even
Yeah.
for DMs, it's a starter.
Yeah.
So
The book was very helpful. It had a lot of information for me.
yeah,
Like I said earlier, the don't make the players roll all the time. That was a big thing. I'm like, all right, cool. I'm gonna remember that.
yeah, that was good.
Yeah.
We noticed that. I noticed that we weren't just like picking up the dice every.
You wouldn't want to. Like,
Nah.
why would you want to roll when you tie your shoe?
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
like it's just yeah.
And like, we look around the room. Well, anyone can do that. You know,
Yeah.
sometimes the DM will be like, all right, roll to see if you find anything significant.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get it if you're searching. Like, if you go, all right, I want to try and search top to bottom this room, nook and cranny, flip up the mattress, do a full, like, yeah, you'd roll
Yeah.
on that. But glancing around the room, come on.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. And
Yep.
like when we rolled for observation for the damaged android,
yeah.
I was kind of like, well, I'll make them roll that way, because you guys were asking the android questions.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, she doesn't know.
Yeah.
Like she answers your question, but she doesn't know. She stares at you blankly, all that sort of shit, right?
Yeah.
And then you guys are probably thinking like, the fuck's wrong with this droid?
Yeah.
Like, take it back.
What's wrong with this thing?
Yeah.
It's just walking around,
Yeah.
on this derelict ship and knows nothing.
Nah.
What happened to AI
Yeah.
taking over us? So,
Yeah, and then I did the massive bloody crater in the back of her head, like she'd
I was
been
like,
beaten.
you know what? Makes
Yeah,
sense. Makes
yeah.
sense now. She's missing a microchip or two.
Yeah, just a couple.
Couple of wires crossed.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
How did you feel with that synthetic after once you realised what the problem was that had been damaged?
Well, I think it would have been cooler for us to discover. Oh, this isn't a knock on you.
No.
But all of a sudden, when you were explaining the synthetic, you said she'd been wandering around for decades.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, nice little tidbit.
Yeah.
And that was great because it sped up the game. We went, okay,
Yeah.
the distress beacon just went off beforehand, but this ship's been floating through space for 10 years. Something's happening.
75 years.
75, sorry. Decade, that's right.
Yeah.
But we actually didn't on our own discover the decades. I don't know how we ever would,
No, I don't know how. Like, I mean, I probably could have mentioned something in the logs.
Ah, well,
Maybe the last
yeah.
entry was 75 years ago or something. But
Yeah.
that's probably something an experienced DM would just know.
Yeah.
Like,
It's your first time.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was all of our first times, really.
yeah.
With the first for all of us. I thought you did a good job, man. I think you
Thank you.
facilitated well for Churchy, and I think considering how, we basically act like 8-year-olds. We're not a good combination of characters.
The game hadn't even started yet. I'm like, oh, they've kicked off already.
When we were describing our characters.
Yeah.
Yeah. We spent an hour really, diving into our characters'
Yeah.
backstories that we made up, of course. I still don't know, and this is, if you're listening to this episode, please jump in the Discord and let me know what rosary is. Because I know what rosary beads are. These boys keep telling, but my guy's special item or signature item was rosary.
Okay.
And it never came up. Never came up useful, as far as I know.
No.
Mostly because I don't know what rosary is.
The signature items are, reading the rule book, the signature items are trinkets, right? You go through, it's got item descriptions. So obviously, like, there's only certain things you can carry. You can't carry something that's too big.
Yeah.
In your pockets can only fit certain items. These are considered trinkets, which is something that you can fit in the palm of your hand.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And it's basically has no weight, so you can't get, like it's not like something which you chuck in your backpack and it's heavy, right?
Yeah.
Like if you were to carry 2 guns, it's fucking pretty heavy.
Yeah.
Where this thing was like, it's just something that's just so small. It's like it's smaller than your phone. It fit in the palm of your hand, right?
Yeah.
So they call it signature items. Where the only thing I could think of which might be pretty cool is if you found like a mutilated corpse, you couldn't recognize who it was.
Yeah.
And in their pocket you found
Rosary.
right? Churchy's empty pill bottles. Then you might be like, holy fuck, this is that person.
They might just build your character like Church's empty pill bottles. Okay, put it 2 and 2 together. He's adrenaline junkie, likes flying high, pill bottles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
It's just character. Whereas mine might be like rosary, beads. They might actually mean beads, and it might be like I might be a religious person of sorts. And maybe that's why I'm trying to help everyone. My dude's very loyal.
Yeah.
So maybe they're just like character. They were on the character sheet.
Yeah.
They weren't an actual item.
No.
I was devastated at the start of the game where, for my weapon, Churchy got some cool gun that looked like someone had glued it together with hot glue.
Yeah.
The NPC that was coming around with us that you played had a pistol.
Yeah.
And I got a grapple hook. Or a grapple gun, I should say.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what am I going to do with this? Unless the opportunity opens. It's like a temple in Zelda where I can just like...
It's like Batman Arkham City, dude. You just gotta zip line around.
Yeah, I should have done that. I should have been like, oh, guys, you know what? You stay here. I'll go check out the crates.
Yeah, grapple down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I later picked up the dead dude's shotgun. So all was well with the world.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was good fun.
Yeah.
What did it do to your GM, DM experience or mindset around DMing where you're like, okay, I think I got a good grip. I want to build on this. Or were you like, I never want to do this again? Yeah, oh, you're good.
No, man, I'd do it again in a heartbeat.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I get
Dope.
straight around it. Yeah. Absolutely frothed it.
Yeah?
Like, I really want to get some pointers on DMing. Like, one of the guys in the Discord test dummy, he said, when in doubt, just make it up, which was great because I did. And, like, so many times, I'm like, fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I'll just... it's that, and then you guys are like, oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
You know, like in the container, that was all made up. That wasn't in the book.
Yeah.
The one
that's cool.
open and the egg sacs
cool.
in there. That wasn't in the book. There was points of where like to find those around the ship somewhere.
Yeah.
But it didn't tell you where to find them.
Yeah,
So it's like, well, you guys are obsessed with this crane, so maybe I can make something interesting down there.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's good.
Yeah.
It felt like a turning point for us because then we were like, well, it didn't change. We were heading to the med lab regardless, but it gave us something to think about. We were like, okay, biology, it's not, they weren't alien eggs. It was a fungus or something. So kind of got our mindset in. Yeah, it was good.
Yeah.
It is tricky because it's tough because you got to make things up on the fly and you got to do it in such a way that it doesn't look like you're making it up.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's an art to it. Yeah. Hats off to all the DMs and GMs out there.
Hell yeah, man. But had an absolute blast playing it. I think I had just as much fun, if not more fun, than you guys.
Yeah, that's
playing
good.
it. So
We were having a ball. So
yeah. Oh yeah.
it was good.
Yeah. So many stupid moments.
Oh, yeah. I can't even remember all the stupid moments we had. It's a blur of heat and, and beers.
Yeah. Oh yeah, man.
Yeah.
But so glad to be back in here, dude.
Oh, bro. So good. Little sound booth.
Yeah.
Little studio.
Yep.
So hopefully we'll be here moving forward. Every episode that comes to you will be from here.
Yep.
You guys never complained about our audio quality, but it annoyed us.
It did. And like not being able to interact face to face was very difficult as well. Like couldn't look at each other, couldn't make those non-verbal cues as to when we need to start talking about what, or if one has more things to say about a particular topic, where it's much easier in general conversation because you get the person's body language. So
it was like awkward phone conversations where it'd be like talking over each other.
You go.
No, you go.
But we couldn't not do it, right? We couldn't
Everyone's
go
doing the same battle. Yeah,
that's exactly right. But we couldn't go a single week without reproducing an episode.
No. That's not how we do it.
No, that's it.
Episodes every Sunday.
Every Sunday.
And most Thursdays.
Yeah. Pretty much all Thursdays.
I think so. Yeah. As long as the beers flow and the banter is strong, we keep going.
Always is, dude. Always is.
Look, we'll finish off with some little things.
Yeah.
Terrain tournament. Let's hit that quickly.
Yeah. Hell yeah. That's coming up. End of November. You got to get entries in by then.
Yep. Yeah, all you got to do is, it's a terrain tournament. build some scratch built. We want before and after pictures, you know?
Yeah.
Like barely touched. And then at the end of the last day of November, you got to send us through a pic of your completed work, unless you complete it sooner.
Yep.
I'm sure like most people will be cramming till the last minute.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to be a bit of fun. We're going to assemble a panel of judges, which is going to be quite fun. I think we're selecting some very interesting characters to judge.
Yeah.
You know, it's not a super serious tournament, but you will be rewarded for your hard work, basically.
Absolutely.
You know, there'll be things like attention to detail and stuff like that
Yeah.
in the categories.
Yeah, some thematic sort of judging as well. Like,
Yeah.
if your piece tells a little story,
Yeah.
that's kind of cool too. Like, doesn't have to be obvious. Can just be, you know, some little posters or some blood splatter somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that'll be good. There is prizes for it. So first place. Third place.
First prize.
First place is a Hobby Homies trophy and Recruit Edition starter box, like the 40k Recruit Edition box.
Yeah, Necron Space Marines in a box.
Yeah, not for a little
everything you
kill
need.
team or a start of a little force or a
Yeah.
little combat patrol.
Yeah.
The rule book and everything else you need to get going.
Yep.
Second place is a Hobby Homies paint rack.
Yep.
So a little thing to store your paints in.
Yeah, keep all your paints nice and tidy. Keep that hobby space clean.
And keep the paint in the pot.
Yeah.
And third place is a Hobby Homies patented gift pack. So, yeah, that'll be fun. Again, it ends. So we're going to do these seasonally.
Yep.
This is what season are we in? Spring?
Spring feels like summer.
Does feel like summer right now. Yeah. So this is the spring one. So therefore it ends on the last day of spring.
Yep.
Hobby Homies Terrain Tournament. I mean, all the info's on the things.
Yeah, on the things on Facebook, mostly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about the giveaways we're doing for this next month?
Yeah, hell yeah, man. We've got some great giveaways this week. Very
Thematical.
thematical.
Yeah.
Yeah. As we're lockdown's over, we're going to start hitting some games we haven't hit for a while. Test of Honor is one of them.
Yep.
Which we've both been super keen for. Like, we started our journey into Test of Honor series, which got put on hold.
Because of
We're not mentioning that again.
yeah, right. Fair enough.
So yeah, we're excited to get that back and hit some games for that. Especially some of our Discord users there frothing as well. So I'm looking forward to giving some content for that.
Yep.
But our Patreon giveaway is a feudal Japanese warband for games like Test of Honor.
Yep.
Plastic models.
Yeah.
So they are fantastically detailed, brilliant.
Yeah, a little assortment of sprues. I'm going to hand pick you up a little warband that you will be able to directly just like paint up and use straight away in Test of Honor.
Yeah.
And a few extras for you to like custom your force a little bit. So that's cool.
Hell yeah.
That goes for all the patrons that we have.
Yep. The main giveaway is a copy of the Alien RPG starter pack.
Yeah. The exact one we played today.
Well, not the exact one, the same
Oh,
one.
yeah, sorry, yeah. Shane told me we can't give away all our second-hand items. Have to buy new stuff for the giveaways. It'll be the exact same boxed game.
Yep. In shrimp wrap.
In shrimp wrap. Everything that we had today, you will also have, but brand new and untouched.
Yeah. So that'll be fun. We really hope that you guys, whoever wins that, get stuck into it and let us know how your games go.
Yeah.
That will be sick.
And then if you're local, obviously we're playing a big mashup.
Oh, hell yeah.
That'd be sick.
Get around it. So that goes to our main giveaway. So information will be on Facebook for that one.
Yep.
We're thinking it's just going to be, there'll be a post put up. Probably
Facey?
On the Facey, yep.
Yep.
And just like the post, tag one of your homies.
Yep.
It can be a hobby homie, it can be whoever you play RPGs with,
Yep.
whether it's online, in person.
Yep.
Just tag someone and you'll go into the entry for that. Patrons also get their automatic entry as well.
Cool.
So like most giveaways.
Yep.
And yeah, as always, you can stay up to date on our events, like our live episodes in the Discord.
Yep.
And Facebook as well. So get around those. The Discord is a great community that we've been building, getting all sorts of different hobbyists and gamers and
It's
all
so
that,
good.
painters alike. Yeah.
It's awesome seeing everyone's different projects from different systems and if you're a bit of a dick, don't waste your time. Don't come in there. You won't last long. Everyone's super positive in there and we're all about building each other up and encouraging people to get hobby done. And yeah, it's an awesome place.
Yeah.
So
It's such a great place. Like, even like the last couple of days, it has just been popping off. People have been up to so much stuff.
yeah.
And there's so many people up to different things. Like, it's just, you look at it every day and MJ's painting. One day it's Bolt action, the next day it's Test of Honor.
Yep.
Foggy's hitting Song of Ice and Fire,
Yeah.
his Test of Honor stuff, like it,
Yeah.
and
He's painting dragons one day and then doing Test of Honor Terrain the next. And then showing us his new paints.
And Brett and Jace are just their painting level is just above all else. Like they're always painting something different too.
Yeah. Yeah.
So-
and they're doing like Blood Bowl
Yeah.
and
Malifaux,
That's right.
Infinity.
Yeah.
They've been hitting a lot of those kind of games,
yeah.
which aren't out. They're not in our rotation, but
Yet.
very interesting. Very
Yet.
interesting. Blood Bowl especially.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
But
you
yeah.
can check all that. Links on hobbyhomies.com.
Yeah, exactly. There's a little Discord link on there, so slap that, jump
Yeah.
in, show
Yeah.
us what you've been up to or what you're interested in. Or if you're just interested and you have nothing, perfect.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone in there is just excited to see people get hobby done, or
Yep.
it's a great place.
Good place to start too.
Yep.
So yeah, massive shout out to our patrons because we really couldn't do this without you guys. We got Final Dinosaur, Foggy Highway, Churchy, the man
man.
behind the void,
The man.
Dave, Rory, Caitlin, Rad Rooster.
We got Arkham, Whack the Ewok, Joe, Lethal, MJ, Burnsy, Elko, and a round of applause for our newest Patreon, Oliver.
Oh yes, yeah,
Welcome. It's been great having you on the Discord, man.
yeah.
Glad to find another NFL fan. There's a few of us popping up in there. so,
Jesus,
yeah.
too many of you, I think.
it's an overthrow. Anyways, I've been Fox. This has been my other homie in the flesh, the man himself, Churchy. Oh, sorry, Shane. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Tune in for our Beers and Banter, which is coming up on Thursday. And this episode, obviously, is out on Sunday. We don't actually know what we're talking about next week.
No, we've just been overwhelmed.
Yeah.
It's got to be something.
It'll be something.
Good.
Yeah, I hope so. But we'll be in the studio again, so
Yeah.
stay tuned for those ones, and we'll sort out a hobby hangout soon and catch you then.
Hell yeah. See you Thursday.
Peace.
Bye.